Welcome to part 1 of the Introduction to HTML series. Hopefully you've already watched the intro video, but if not, you can pause this and go watch that. It will be beneficial. There's also a video that introduces JS Fiddle, which is the website editor that I'm using. So if you have not seen that video yet, you can go ahead and watch that as well before watching this one. It can help you out. This video, we're going to start creating a simple web page together, so you can follow along with a new fiddle in jsfiddle.net. I'm going to start off with my doc type HTML tag, like I always will, and opening up my HTML tags. So now that I've got that taken care of, there are the two main sections that I need, my head and the body. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my head tag. And I'm going to put in my body tag. Now the head tag, just as a review, is where the information that isn't necessarily viewed by the user outside of the title, the metadata about the website, that's where that's going to go. And the body tag is typically where the content that the user will see is going to go. But I'm going to start off with the title. And in my title here, I am going to put HTML Part 1. I'm going to also add some metadata in here. So I'm going to put in the author. And for that content, this is where you would put in your name. Sometimes a company might put in the company name here as well. But go ahead and put in your name here. And also let's add in some keywords. And for that content, sorry, went down to new line there. And for that content, let's put in HTML, intro, and tags. And let's put in a description as well. And the description is going to be a small page to learn about tags. All right, that's all for the metadata. And that is all that we're putting here in the head section. However, we have done enough work now that would be a good time to go ahead and save. So I'm going to go ahead and give my fiddle a name, HTML Part 1. And I'm going to go ahead and save. Now at this point, we do have the option of collapsing some code here. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse that head section. I'm going to be working in the body section from here on out. And it just wouldn't be right not to have a heading here at the top for Hello World. Since this is the first one we're doing together, it's tradition. And after that heading, I'm going to go ahead and put in a horizontal rule. This is just going to make that horizontal line that goes across the page. And let's insert our first paragraph. Now the content here is not near as important as getting used to using these tags. So let's start off with something really thought-provoking. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. I'm not really sure why she does that. There's a lot of shells there for free, but that's what she likes to do. So, well, let's go ahead and put in one more paragraph. Let's see here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I mean, we're only saying that because she's selling shells right by the seashore. Well, let's excuse that. You might have heard that some other place. Never knew that those Sallys were related. Yep, that's the same Sally. Okay, so we've got 2 paragraphs here. Let's go ahead and save and run so we can see what we have so far. All right, so I've got my heading, my hello world, my horizontal rule. Then I've got my 2 paragraphs. Not bad so far. Okay, under that paragraph, let's go ahead and put in a line break. And now we're going to cover lists. So there's 2 types of lists that you could see, ordered list and unordered lists. So we're going to start off with an ordered list. The only difference is one is going to use bullet points, whereas the other would use numbers. So we're going to put in an OL tag. That OL tag is for ordered list, and everything that we put in between the O and L will be inside that ordered list. Now, each thing that's inside that list is called a list item, and so those list items would have an LI tag. So list items would have an LI tag. It does have an opening and closing tag. It is important to close your tags. Do want to point out that we have used a few here that we haven't had to close. The doc type tag is not required to close that tag. And the meta tag, we have not been closing those. In addition to those 2, the horizontal rule tag did not have a closing tag. And the line break, that BR tag, did not have a closing tag. Okay, so in the list item, let's go and think about, well, sorry, if we're going to have a list, let's put in a heading first. So I'm outside of that ordered list tag here, and I'm going to put in an H4. So that's going to be smaller than our hello world. So hello world was an H1 tag, so the largest heading. So H4 is going to be several levels smaller. And I'm going to make this ordered list about food. So I'm going to put my heading of food. So my list items in my ordered list will be a numbered ordered list of food. And the number 1 food, you could argue if you want, but I'm going to go with potato. Potato, you can fix them so many different ways. I mean, the list just goes on and on, so why not? I mean, just think about it. Everybody's got to love at least some kind of potato meal. Let's go ahead and put in another one. What's my next best? Cheese. Cheese goes with just about everything. Cheese is amazing. And speaking of amazing and going with everything, honey mustard. Now you might argue that honey mustard is not a food, it's more like a condiment. Well, it's hard to argue with me since I'm making the recording and I have the mic, so I win. However, you can put your favorite foods in the comments if you prefer. All right, so I've got potato, cheese, honey mustard, and those are inside an OL tag for ordered list. So when I run this, I'm going to actually see in my website, I've got my heading for food. It was a H4, so it is smaller, much smaller than the hello world. And then I've got my potato, cheese, and honey mustard that are each numbered. All right, let's go ahead and put in a unordered list just to see the difference. For this, let's add in a line break first. So I'm going to put in another BR tag. And then an unordered list, if you haven't guessed already, would be UL for unordered list. And inside this, I also have the list items. So once again, I didn't really give a heading for what it is that we're talking about. So outside of my unordered list, I am going to put in another H4 tag. And this one is going to be links. Let's get some links. Now these links aren't ordered, so it doesn't have to be the best link. And it can be links to whatever websites you choose. I'm going to start off with this channel, moving target. Now I'm going to add in another list item for Quizlet. If you've not checked Quizlet out, it's a great way to learn some vocabulary words. You should check it out. It's wonderful. And one of the more popular choices, let's go with Cool Math Games. All right, so I have an unordered list. That's what the UL tag is. And each item inside that unordered list is a list item, so it's inside my LI tags. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Let's go ahead and run. And now I see my food, and my links. So at this point, just want to put in a couple more tags for formatting so we can see that later on. Let's go back up to our paragraphs. And Sally here, let's add some emphasis for Sally. So I'm going to put in a B tag surrounding just the word Sally, which that's going to make Sally show up in bold when we run that, so we can see that happening. And what is she selling? Seashells. I'm going to go ahead and put that inside an underline tag, which is a U. And when we run that, we're going to see how seashells are underlined. And the underline starts with the starting tag and closes with the closing tag if you do not put a closing tag. Browsers, modern browsers, are going to still display something to the user. It just might be not what you're expecting. So if you don't close out that tag, notice how everything is underlined throughout the rest of the website. So we do want to make sure that we're closing off those tags. So no, I don't want to put it after C. Let's put it after shells. All right, so Sally is selling her seashells by the seashore, and let's throw in an italics. So where it says excuse, I'm going to put that in an I tag for italics. And then let's try one more where you see that last Sally. Go ahead and put in a strong tag. Now, when we save and run this, there's not going to be much of a visible difference between Sally, which is bold, and Sally, which is set up with the strong tag. But I do want to see that you to see those two different tags. Now, these tags are just identifying these things. It is actually the browser that's determining how it would display strong or bold. But we can give that browser more instructions, and that's what we're going to be doing in the next couple of videos. But you've made it to the end of this video. Well done. But don't stop learning.